So Bernie Sanders just signed AOC's letter calling on the U.S. to condition aid to Israel if they continue with their plans to annex the West Bank, which or parts of it, which Netanyahu just said that he would a couple of weeks ago. But the interesting thing is that none of the other Democrats are signing the letter, or the other members of Congress, which is surprising if you take at face value the statements that they've been making for the better part of, let's call it 50 years, but certainly over my lifetime, as to what the goal of the quote-unquote peace process in the Middle East is. The peace process goal, I thought, was to come to a two-state solution that accommodates that helps both the Palestinians and the Israelis in a fair way. But now Israel says that they're going to take over the land that would have been a future Palestinian state, and all the Democrats who apparently had been working towards peace this whole time are not going to condition aid to Israel. And so that makes it look to me as if the U.S. was only helping Israel this entire time, and the pretext of a peace process in terms of all these negotiations was just a facade that was used in order to maintain the status quo as Israel slowly gobbled up larger and larger portions of the West Bank by expanding settlements into those areas. And so a lot of people today, look back at history and we say, how could the people let what we did to the Native Americans go unchecked, where we just took their land and we killed them off until they were living in squalor, and then now eventually they're more or less second-class citizens in a nation of the conquerors. And they say we would never do that again. But that's exactly what's happening. Maybe not exactly, but it's largely what's happening in Israel right now, in terms of the entire international community says that this is occupied territory. Israel has no legitimate claim to this land. It was originally acquired through an illegal invasion and then further expanded through illegal settlements, which were actually subsidized and encouraged through this entire time by the Israeli government. And for impartial outside observers just looking at what's happening, it was pretty clear this whole time this has been Israel's plan, is they want to incorporate the important parts of the West Bank into Greater Israel and annex those parts and the water resources and the settlement areas therein illegally. And so the peace process has been, a total cover that has just allowed this to continue through this entire time. And anyone thinking that the U.S. is an impartial mediator during this process is totally off base, even though that's what the consensus has been for the Democratic presidents. It was the consensus under Obama as he continued more or less the same policies, as well as Clinton didn't help very much, and now it's under Trump. Now under Trump and Netanyahu, it's getting a little bit brazen, and so the Democrats don't like it that it's been formalized that they're going to annex it, but they're just doing the same thing they did before. They're just trying to, officially write it into policy. But everybody knew that's what they were doing. And the reason that the other Democrats won't sign onto AOC's ruling or letter is because, fundamentally they're supportive of Israel, whatever they do, and international law and, what's happening to the Palestinians was never part of the concern. And so at least the mask is off with this. 198 Democrats signed a letter saying that they oppose annexation, but only 13 signed AOC's letter saying that they want to condition military aid to that annexation, which is interesting because if you have a nation which is in violation of international law and is taking away the land illegally of another people and killing them and bombing them with money that we're giving them, you'd think that we would want to stop giving them money if we were trying to help rectify that situation. But no, in fact, we'll say we don't like the annexation, but we'll also say go ahead and keep taking this money, which you can use on bulldozers and bombs and tanks and whatever you need to keep doing what you're doing. That's a pretty clear message, and it also shows what what the reasons for the policy of support for Israel has been this whole time, much more so than vague statements about a two-state solution or supporting the peace process. What you can tell what governments want by their actions, or individuals, much more so than through their formal statements, which can be manipulated. So.